I think it's wrong to tell people that had an affair with. Now, is what did with wrong? It's absolutely wrong. And I'll side with you all day long on that. And I told that to his face. I felt like what he had done was wrong. But no, they did not sleep together.
I never said they slept together.
I know you didn't.
I've never said that.
I know you didn't. But when people hear that they had an affair.
Emotional affair. I always say emotional affair. Maybe not in here, because I know you've said that to me. I always tell people emotional affair.
Tirsi, I must be honest with you.
Sure, be honest.
There are many people, that's not a pretend exaggeration, many people who have come to me and have said, did you know that slept with? That's wrong. And invariably, I end up asking, where did you hear this? And it traces back to you. Now, I'm not attacking you. I'm being honest. I'm being sincere. I can only say what I know. And I'm not exaggerating. I could give you a list of people. Because and actually, you should feel somewhat good about this. It's people running to your aid often to say, you're not being fair to her. Slept together. And I say, wait a minute, hold on. First of all, I'm not allowed to talk about this with you. That's confidential. But where did you hear this? And it traces back to you. So what I'm trying to communicate...
Have you ever heard of the telephone game?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But what am I to conclude? What am I to conclude?
Well, how about you investigate and ask the person who's talking? I do say emotional affair all the time.
I'm asking you
Oh.
not to say that all the time. That's precisely when Bishop and I sat in front of you. That's precisely the invitation that I've given you, is to not do that. And I feel, I'm just saying what Russ feels. I feel like you're not listening and following our counsel. Now, let me address another topic, if I may.
Sure.
Let's talk about your temple recommend.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah. I want to ask you, why did we take that away from you?
Because I did not agree with the decision that you made.
No. Everyone's allowed to disagree.
We were there to discuss that decision. And so when you asked me if I supported Bishop, I didn't. I don't support him in that decision. I still don't support that decision. I also feel like I let it happen in air quotes, because...
What is let? I'm sorry, with what?
The ordinance had already happened. And it wasn't like I stood up and spread my arms out and said...
So I see an opportunity to clarify here, if I may.
Of course.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Do you want to finish?
No.
Okay. I want to clarify, because that is a misunderstanding. Your temple recommend was not taken away because you disagreed with a decision that we made. And I'm the one who took the temple recommend away, so I know why we took your temple recommend away. We took your temple recommend away because you emphatically said you would not stop talking about this with other people. That is the singular reason for which your temple recommend was taken away. And it was not for disagreeing with a decision that we made. And you're allowed, there's tons of people who disagree with me. That's allowed. You'll never be disciplined for that. Good night, nurse. You disagree with me all day long. But to not follow counsel and direction from your priesthood leaders, there's a name for that. That's called apostasy. When your priesthood leaders, right, wrong, or indifferent, when they say to do something and you say, I will not do that, then you simply cannot sit in that temple recommend interview and say, I sustain and support my local church leaders.
Can I say something?
Of course.
So this whole thing about being able to, even though I have on a piece of paper that wrote, why seek an affair? I need to want to be faithful. All of that was disregarded. All of my emails and texts of how he treated me was disregarded because you said, and Bishop said, he declared himself worthy. Do you remember that? That's the reason he was able to do that ordinance, because he declared himself worthy. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I?
No. I will in a minute. At the end of that meeting, I stood up. I said, you can take, when you asked for my recommend, I said, you can take my recommend, that's fine. But I am standing up for truth and righteousness, and I feel more worthy than ever to enter the temple. Why don't I get to declare my worthiness? Why is my declaring worthiness different than declaring worthiness?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. One that you are welcome to ask. But what it really breaks down to is that conversations about temple worthiness will happen between three people.
I wasn't questioning his temple worthiness. No, I wasn't.
I know, but
no, we were talking about the worthiness to perform the ordinance for my son.
I know.
I guess I don't understand why you're talking about his recommend.
Well, because I'm talking about your recommend. I asked you, why did we take your temple recommend away?
Right.
You answered, which I felt was inaccurate. So I clarified, no, this is why we did it. And then you said, but wait. And then you went directly to worthiness. And so I'm...
Right, because you said you took my recommend away because I will not follow your counsel. But what I'm saying is, didn't follow counsel, and he got to declare worthiness because he had an affair. Emotional affair. I have it handwritten by him as an assignment from our marriage therapist. His actions.
You mean like a confession from him that he had an emotional affair? Is that what you mean?
It wasn't a confession. The assignment was, what do you need going forward from your spouse? And he said, why seek an affair? I need to want to be faithful. So going forward, he wanted to want to be faithful. He had already sought the affair. Now, my question is, was he just talking about, or were there previous people? I don't know. But however, my point is none of that. My point is, you and Bishop insisted that because he declared himself worthy, he got to ordain. That was the sole reason. It did not matter the proof that I had, because he declared himself worthy. He was able to have that experience of ordaining our son. What I'm saying is, I declared myself equally as worthy for my temple recommend, and I didn't get to keep it.
Can I speak to these?
Yeah, that's now? What. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to clarify my questions.
That's what we need to do.
The answer.
This is what I'm here today for with you. I
understand.
To clarify.
But I didn't want you guys being, I don't know what, but I just was clarifying what my question was.
Yes. So let me address to a few different issues. Number one, we believe in repentance. And when I met with, which actually, candidly, has only been one time. Bishop's done most of the meetings with him. I've only met with him one time. Admitted that he was playing with fire, and that he was inappropriate. And while at the same time acknowledging that he did not physically.
Right. I have never said that. I don't think that they did.
I'm not saying you did.
I'm sorry. I'm being defensive. I'm sorry.
I'm just talking about an interview.
Okay, so he never said it was physical. Okay.
But he'd acknowledged I did wrong, and then talked to me about his repentance. Fair enough. You're allowed to doubt and question that.
When you repent, don't you go to the person you hurt?
Okay, wait, hold on. Please.
He has not come to me ever.
Please, hold on. Please let me just finish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, but he had talked through it with his priesthood leaders. He had been on his knees, and then the bishop, then came the issue of, well, can he ordain his son? Bishop met with him, gave him a searching interview. I wasn't in that interview, nor were you. But I trust Bishop's keys. I wholeheartedly. He's a capable man. And he says to me, I feel he's worthy to perform the ordinance. And I stand by the bishop's determination. That is one issue. Now the next I'd like to clarify is yours. You did not come in declaring yourself temple worthy. You did quite the opposite.
I didn't feel like I needed to until you took my recommend away. When I said I am worthy, than ever.
But Tirsi, please understand, when someone says, no, I will not follow that counsel, that is the same
Which
as
recommend
saying...
question is that?
I don't know the number, but it is a recommend question. We ask, do you support and sustain President Thomas S. Monson as prophet, seer, and revelator, and the only man on the earth who is authorized to exercise all priesthood keys? That's one question. Second question, do you support and sustain the first presidency and quorum of the 12 apostles as prophets, seers, and revelators? Third question, do you support and sustain your local church leaders?
Right. And we were talking about that decision.
And what I was hearing...
I do not support that decision.
No.
That's
I want to re-clarify again.
Okay, when I answered that question...
It had nothing to do with that decision.
When I answered that question, that's what I was referring to.
Okay.
When you asked me, do I support and sustain him? No, not in that question. It was not in that question. It wasn't...
I know for a fact that we asked you the question, Tirsi. Are you willing to stop talking about this with anyone
about
else?
What?
About what had happened, what had transpired with and the response
what
that
do you
gave.
mean? Stop talking about what specifically?
Well, all of this.
The relationship with...
Yes. And everything. Stop talking to other people about this. That was the counsel we gave you. Because ultimately, what we feel is that it's divisive and that it's poison for the ward.
How? How is it divisive?
Because people pick sides. There are people who are in camp, and there are people who are in Tirsi's camp.
I
right
see
now.
people talk to me, talk to her. There's no camps. I think that's fabricated.
There are camps. There are.
Let me tell you, I could
sides.
not even tell you who's picking my side. Let me just tell you that.
Okay.
Couldn't even tell you.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how to convince you that there's division in the ward right now. But I can tell you.
But here's what I
there is.
love. I love that get to have this emotional affair.
Wait, who said
no,
they
listen
get
to me.
to?
They did. What I mean is that they did have this. Not that they get what semantics. They have this emotional affair.
You call me on semantics.
Okay,
all the
fine.
time.
Okay, fine. They get. What do you want me to say? They had this emotional affair. They had this emotional affair, and yet I'm the bad guy because I need to process this.
Not at all.
That is what I'm hearing from you. You can't do it the way you want. They get to do what they want. There was no consequence to them for their behavior. None. Not church-wise, nothing. So, but yet I get my recommend taken away. Do you not see the ludicrousy of that? They are having this emotional affair, lying to me about it. About her gifts. I mean, I could give a litany.
Yeah.
They get to do all of that, and there's no consequence for their behavior. And because I am hurt and struggling and trying to process it, I get my recommend taken away? No, thank you. That does not work for me. You took my recommend when I should have been in the temple the most. I know of people who have said, I cannot sustain President Monson, and they get a recommend anyway.
Well,
So
I wouldn't give a recommend like that.
So I'm just, it's all the luck of the draw of your ecclesiastical leader.
Yeah.
I don't think another stake president would have taken my recommend away. I don't.
I'm sad to hear that, because any church member who refuses to follow the counsel of their leader, then I just
again,
can't.
it's not the council. I support Bishop and everything else. I don't in this decision. And I had texted him that I could move to another stake, another ward, and support 100%. I cannot support you 100%. I do not agree with this decision. I still think it was wrong.
Again, what we need to see right now, and because if we spend all of our time talking about past,
Sure.
then that's
You don't move
wasted
forward,
time.
sure.
Talking about moving forward, for you to receive your temple recommend again, we need an absolute commitment that you're not going to talk about this with anyone.
Well, here's the problem. I feel like my recommend was used against me.
Wait,
I know I'm explaining how I feel. I feel like it was used against me as a weapon. I no longer want a temple recommend.
sorry to hear that.
I know, I bet you are. I have zero desire because it was used against me. And so I don't want to put myself in that position. That's the empowering position that I can take, I feel like.
Sure. Well,
because I don't agree that it ever should have been taken away on so many counts.
yeah.
I don't ever agree.
Well, Tirsi, I don't know how to make you believe what I've said. That
I believe you.
That we're actually trying to help. And honestly,
I do think you think that. I don't think that you think you're being malicious or mean. I also know that you are one of the people who have exponentially added to my burden, pain,
can you tell me
and
another way?
heartache. We just spent an hour discussing it. You have completely added to the burden that I feel.
Well, I'm sorry.
I know.
That has never been my intention.
I know.
And
But maybe you could examine how a sister who is hurting deeply, deeply hurting. Two people get to have this emotional affair with no consequences. Was her recommend taken away? No. His for a completely different reason. And how a sister can come in hurting. You are now my priesthood leader. Bishop is now my priesthood leader. And I feel, and I know this is a strong word, but I feel raped by you too. I know that is a strong word, but you can shake your head, but the only change that can come is in examining what I am saying and how I feel. And so I am sorry that I maybe I need to do the same examining that I am talking to you about. I will go home today and think about it. I understand now. I still don't know how I, at the end of the day, ended up without my recommend when I just should have been in the temple more than ever. And I am the hurting person. They are off in their happy little worlds. None the wiser. I am the one who is still deeply hurting. She is a trigger for me. Sorry, I don't know what to say. I have to see her every week at church. It is a trigger. I don't know what to do.
Did you know that you are for her too?
How? She lied to me. She betrayed me. How am I sorry, let me answer. How am I a trigger for her?
Well, I've met with and she cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. Acknowledging
what? Sorry.
Acknowledging areas where she could be better and could improve. But it is a reality that many people in the ward now know about this. And
you blame me?
Wait a minute.
I'm asking a clarifying question. I feel like you're blaming me when you say that. Are you?
Yes, I am.
What about her talking and running her mouth?
Well, I certainly think perhaps there's blame to share. All that I know is that the sources that have been made aware of this have said, Tirsi told me this. And I can only interpret that to mean one thing. I don't know how else to interpret that.
Well, here's the thing that I see. I know people who are in your circle. Does not. I've been here for 10 years. She's been here for a year and a half. And look at the mess she's created. I have been here for 10 years. And I have made an amazing network of friends who are in your network. That is why.
And all of them love you and care very much about you and have pleaded and petitioned for you. And what I wish everyone could know is that I'm on your side. I don't feel, you may disagree, but I don't feel like it's me versus Tirsi. I'll say this. In my opinion, you have done nothing wrong except for one thing. You refuse to stop talking to people about this. And actually, in my honest assessment, for whatever it's worth to you, I think it's hurting you more than helping you. I think letting people know this junk that has happened in your life is not helping you. You seem to think, after meeting with, I'm sure, a very qualified professional, that it is helping you. I think it's doing you a great disservice.
Let me just tell you, she's never said, she doesn't know that how many people I talk to or who I talk to.
You gave me the impression.
No,
earlier
what I
today
said
that
is I'm an external person. This is a different person than I'm meeting now. This was the marriage therapist.
But you gave me the impression that a therapist had told you that it's good for you to be talking about
that's not
this.
what I said. That's not what I said ever. I said what she said is I am an external processor.
Okay, well I
Which is
agree
true.
with that assessment. Yeah, I agree with that. But I think this is harming you more than helping you, and I'm pleading with you.
But
to
that's
stop
what you don't
talking to people.
understand. This is how we started the meeting. Things keep happening week after week. How do I stop talking about it week after week?
Well, but Tirsi, I'll offer an honest answer to that. I'm sorry, I just did that
You're
because I had
fine.
church at 10:30,
That's
so
fine.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
You're right. Things are going to keep happening to you in your life that keep hurting. And you're going to have tons of experiences moving forward. Going to continue to do you wrong. And you're going to have lots of experiences that continue to add salt to your wound. All that I'm asking is that you not then go out and share it with other people. Because it...
Deny being who you are. That is what I hear you say. Deny who you are.
Well, the natural man is a enemy to God.